Hello, this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts. Apologies first of all for my voice. I've got a full-blown head cold, not too bad though, but this is why I sound a bit nasal. And the other apologies for the maybe a little bit poor lighting. We've currently got a power cut. We've had it now for I think 6 hours, and they say it's going to last another 10 hours at least. So I thought, never mind, my phone is charged, my laptop's charged, so I can edit this later, and hopefully the power will come back for me to upload it ready for tomorrow morning, my Sunday morning video. So the card I want to create today, or rather I will create two cards. It is an idea I've had for ages, and I've seen it similarly somewhere else, but I don't think I've ever done it, so I thought I'd do it for now, because it is a fairly quick card, and I think it's a good use to use your paper pads. This one is from Dovecraft, Winter Wonderland. I got that in the sale, as I did with many of my other winter and Christmas papers. I'm just having a look what... It doesn't say what GSM it is. Oh, it does say 150 GSM. This is proper, I want to say paper. Not as thin as copy paper, but really fairly thin. And I think it's best to use paper and not cardstock for this technique, because we need to stack up quite a few. I have seen this. What we're basically doing is create a 3D tree. What I have seen is where basically the trees are stacked up like this, but I don't want to do that. I want to stack them up next to each other, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. This tree die here, by the way, this is from Positively Paper Craft. This is the outline one. I bought that quite a few years ago. And what you need for this technique, you need ideally a die that is symmetrical, which this is. I've also just done the same with this star die, but I've also got other ideas here for you. If you don't want to create a Christmas card, you could like have a balloon or a heart, or even just circles, ovals, anything that is symmetrical will work for this. If you haven't got a symmetrical die, you can use because I was thinking about, I've got little trees, you can cut the dies, or sorry, the paper from the other side, but then you need to go around the edges with your like a dotting tool or something like that to make sure it doesn't show that you've cut it from the back, because if you do cut from the back, let me just show you this, you've always got this edge, so you want to flatten it, or you could even use your bone folder and go over it like this, so you could do that, but you don't need this if you've got a symmetrical die. So what we need to do now is to find the middle of this. Obviously it starts there at the top, and we need to put a score line down there. So I tell you what I'll do with this thing here, because I've never used this one before. I'm going to mark the groove. I'll just say the 2-inch one. This is just a Sharpie. So I think I need to give that a second to dry, because then I can align it at the top, and I can also have a look at the bottom. It doesn't have to be super perfect, but you want this as even as possible. So I'm just finding the groove there, and I'm going down there. So, and you do that all with your die cut pieces. These, by the way, because it's only paper, I cut them 2 at a time, and I want to show you this as well. I got 2 out of each piece. I want to show you the other ones here, because these had directional patterns. I went this way up, but with this one it didn't matter. So with this one it didn't matter, but as I said, I cut 2 at the same time to save a little bit of time. So I'm going to do this with all my 6 pieces. I'm not quite sure whether I will use them all, but we'll see as we go along. What you then want to do is fold this into half, making sure you have scored it actually in the middle. If not, you might have to push a little bit. This small bit here, that is really a little bit tricky. I need to press that down with my finger, and then when I've done that, I use my bone folder to burnish this. I've already done that with the other pieces. This one's not really folded in the middle, so I might dismiss that. So, and then I just need to glue these together. Because it's paper, I'm not using any wet glue. I just want to use my glue stick here. So I'm just having a look which patterns I've got. So I've got 2 of these, 1 of these, 2 of these. So I'll probably have them in the order I've just laid them out. So I'm starting here, putting glue on the, is it right hand side? Well, back of the right hand side. So just on half of it. So, and then I'm placing the left hand side of this one against it. And I think the important thing is that you've aligned the outside here. I'm not too bothered whether it aligns in the middle because I think you can hide that a little bit. So when it is in place, you can just press that down. So, and now I'm putting glue on this side here and put the next one on. And then glue on this one, put the next one on. And I think I will just use the 5. I don't think we actually need 6, so this one can sit in the middle. I quickly do this off camera. So I've cut myself a card base, which is 4 by 6 inches. I made it as a top folding card. And I've also put a mat here from the same paper pad. I chose something plain here really, so nothing that's blue because I wanted this to stand out. And I've also cut myself a little sentiment, German Merry Christmas, Frohe Weihnachten, mainly because my Merry Christmas dies are usually a bit too tall and I didn't want to make this a bigger card. So all that's left for me to do now is to stick these down. So I need to apply glue on the back here, and I'm using my glue stick again. But I'll have to be mindful at the top here because I made the second card with the stars as well. And I was struggling to get the smaller bit down at the top. So if that doesn't work for here, I'll show you how we can remedy that. So I'm just making sure I've got glue on all the edges. So, and I can basically hold these together middle, so I've just got the 2 back pieces here, and then it's easy for me to align this. Just making sure I've got even space on either side, which I haven't yet. Straight, so I'm going a bit off camera there at the bottom. So once that's fine for me, I'm going to press this down, and I'm going to go in there with my fingernails at the top, making sure that it adheres properly. I've got a bit of excess glue, but if I leave that to dry, it should be fine. Glue stick usually doesn't show up too much. So I'm actually going in a little bit with my bone folder against the score line just to press this down. So, and for the sentiment, I usually use my glue stick, which is the two-way zig glue, but I've also seen a technique where you just put some wet glue down on your hand and you just dip it into that, and I fancy that because it's a really delicate die. So just making sure I've got glue everywhere. I think that should be okay. I'm just using my tweezers to hold these, and again making sure I've got similar space on the left and the right hand side. Can then let that go. I'm taking a piece of scrap paper to press this down, which will also pick up any excess glue. There we go. Yes, I've got quite a bit oozing out there, which I need to take off because this is some mirror card and that will show afterwards. So I'll just pick that up with this tool. I can go over that with a little bit of rubbing alcohol afterwards if I find it doesn't show up too much, but it's not too bad. So, and then I've also cut 2 little stars here that I thought would look nice on either side. maybe should have cut some more. I just did that because I had scrap cardstock. So popping that one there. I think I'm using too much glue at the moment. By the way, I didn't mention earlier why we've got a power cut. We've got the most horrendous storm today. We're even contemplating keeping our pub closed today. So, well, it's not much use anyway without the power, but we'll see. So, that's the first card done. I'll show you the second one that I've gone ahead making. So, this one is a different selection of the papers from the same pad, and I put these on a, well, it's a shopboard 6x6, but it's not 6x6. It's 5 7/8 or 5 3/4. I don't even think it's square because my mat is square and that didn't work quite out. But never mind. So for this one, I've cut a different sentiment also from some holographic paper. So I'll just go along here and dip that into this whilst this is still wet. I think this should be fine now. So I'm just eyeballing this one here. Difficult sentiment because it's not really central. The Mary isn't. So I don't think there's enough glue down there. So I can see now where I'm missing some glue. So what I'm doing for that is actually we'll use some fresh glue. I would normally put that on a piece of paper, but now I've got glue on my hand anyway. So what I'm doing is I've just got some little bit of scrap paper here, and I'm just putting the glue on that, and then I can just slide it underneath the bits that need some glue on them. Again, I've mucked it up a little bit here. So it's going underneath, pressing it down. Yeah, I should have taken more care. I think with this one I should have used the glue stick because this one's not as fine, and I think maybe the glue was already a little bit dry. Sometimes I try to take shortcuts and they don't pay off. Also, I've got one of those sheets where you've got lots of little glue dots. I could have used that one. Or put double-sided adhesive on the back before I die cut it. There are loads of ways of adhering intricate die cuts. So I think that's fine. So, and I will have to do the same on the top because my glue stick didn't hold on there. So I'll just put a little bit more on here. Might even be better to use my quick wrap glue. So I'm just sliding that underneath. I'm sure I've got enough glue there, and then I can press it down as I have before, even flatten it down here because it won't affect the layers on the top. Let's see, there's some more glue missing. I'll sort that out off camera in a moment. But yeah, that's basically my second card. So, and when it goes in the post, I can obviously put these down flat, so there's not too much dimension to it. Always depends on the thickness of your paper. And then the recipient, they can open it up and make it a proper three-dimensional tree or star in this case. Yeah, I think this is really nice. I hope you like this one too. And if you do, you might want to give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. And I'll see you soon with another video.